Hello everyone. So it's a Friday night in July 24th, 2025. I'm cooking a ribeye steak. I put some cheese on it, some Roquefort cheese. And yeah, I just figured I would record this video because it's been a while since I put something out there. Except for when I did my my hike last on Sunday, which was very eventful. But I figured I would record this because I have some thoughts, and I think they're somewhat important to me. May not be as important to you, but I figured I would get it out. So I feel like I've been biased towards the fitness goal that I have, which is been putting things, making me put other things off. I feel like I should have done this. I should have started this sometime in like June when everything was kind of cleared out. Because, for example, well, actually, I think the sooner the better was good. Was a good idea, but the problem with this fitness goal is that there's a lot of like kind of learning curves to it. So, for example, last weekend, or I think it was Friday or something, last Friday, I tested and I got plus 2% body fat. So I got up to 17% body fat from 15% low in about a month before, a little over a month before. And it doesn't feel like it's a month went by, but it did. And I know I've said this before to other people, but the reason for this is because I dabbled with the sugar diet, but I didn't go actually the whole way. I just kind of spent a few days seeing what I can get from it and what would happen. And I monitored my ketones pretty rigorously throughout those times, and they were very low. You know, it was hard to get back to ketosis. It took like a whole week after doing just 2 days of what I would consider a sugar diet, but really it was just a bunch of fruit and basically exercising and stuff like that. So now that that's out of the way, it's like, well, I gained 2% body fat last week. Of course, things are always changing, so I'm sure that I'm kind of on a downward trend now because I'm getting back to doing the keto stuff more so, or staying strictly to it and not even dabbling into the sugar stuff. So it's the reason why I'm just recording this is because the goal of getting to 10% body fat is very, very, very difficult, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know how far I'm gonna get, and I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to get there, and I don't even know if it makes any sense at this point, because so far the rebound could have just been natural. It could have just been like, oh well, the reason why this is not happening is because you didn't spend 5 times more at the gym than you did, even though I've been going to running and to the gym as much as I can whenever I have free time and stuff like that. So when I saw that I increased in size, I was like, dude, you got to get back to the rigorous protein dieting and all that keto stuff, man. Like, you can't do these like, let's try fruit, let's try to do all this stuff for certain days just to try it out, because I have a certain goal. So I basically, you know, I know what works, and I'm just going to stick to it, and I don't see why I should veer off. I mean, experimentation is not really for me at this point because of the 10% goal, body fat goal, which might actually end up being 12 or 13, you know. So, yeah, the harder you fall below, the harder it is to push. But well, I guess one reason why I'm talking about this is because I was supposed to do this thing with the landlord. You know, obviously it sounds weird for me to say that, but where I go all in with that and then move on to other goals, you know. But I decided not to do that. Instead, kind of try to disperse out the energy. But then I realized, like, for example, I'm like, fuck, it's already 7 p.m. and I got to go work out. I got to go for a 7-mile run or a 10-mile run, which I subsequently do. And then I feel sore the next day. And then it's kind of like every other day I kind of do that. And then sometimes if I feel sore in my legs, I'll just go to the gym to do weight training, resistance training. And then there's like this whole thing. So everything is like surrounding that 10% goal. And everything else is becoming like a delay in a way. So whenever I find it's like, oh yeah, I've already done the gym, I've already had, there's like usually it's like a Sunday, because I work otherwise, right? I do engineering on the weekday. So when it comes to like a Sunday or something where I don't have to work, and it makes sense, like at that moment, like, oh, let me go back to the renovation or to landlording and going back to my documents. Then I end up doing that, but it takes 2 or 3 weeks. So it's like, it's just so inconvenient. It makes everything inconvenient because, it's very difficult. But I am on a downward trend. It's just, I just was on an upward. I just had that bump up. So I probably took about 4 DEXA scans spread throughout once a month, since, May or so, or maybe April. No, it was May, I think. And I was always on a downward trend other than the last reading, which was late July, of course, right? So obviously that's because I dabbled into the sugar diet stuff for only like a day, and then I tried to do it like a week later, and then I tried to do it another week later, and I just kind of experimenting because I saw people do it, and then I heard from another YouTuber who shall remain anonymous, to up your calories, and that's the reason why you're stalling. Well, I probably shouldn't have even followed that because to up my calories, because I wasn't even stalling. So why would I? It just didn't seem like it was going fast enough. So I just assumed like, oh well, that's gonna accelerate it, right? That was totally wrong. That's another reason why I gained the 2% body fat, because I just was under the impression for 2 weeks that I had to up my calories, and I was doing that for about 2 weeks, and it turns out I just was gaining fat instead of actually. In my particular case, it's all about caloric restriction, which really means food restriction, not necessarily caloric, but whatever kind of food I'm taking in, it's that kind of restriction. But then also more exercise. It's like, in theory, I guess there might be a point where more exercise would be bad, but that's not realistic at this point. It's like, I'm not doing that much exercise that's going to cause me to plateau. It's only going to cause it to do better, because I don't spend all my time doing that. You know what I mean? So anyway, hopefully I'm not overcooking this. It looks pretty good. I don't think I'm overcooking it. I'm more intuitive about cooking, and I don't know, it just works for me. So I used to get like a dipstick and just try to test it out. But yeah, I mean, these are like sauteed like crazy, But yeah, so this is my first meal of the day, and I was just totally under the wrong impression, and because I was thinking, well, my metabolic rate is probably going down and all that, and so I was like, just up the calories. It's like totally wrong. In my particular case. So I'm glad I discovered that about myself. Obviously, for me, it's not about, I have to be more careful. There's certain limits. Like, for example, 1,200 calories a day allows me to get in a good deficit. That's just the way it is. If I do 800, I could probably do that for about three days at a time, and then I have to go back to doing like 1,200, maybe 1,400. But if I try to do like 1,600 or 1,800 calories, especially you're pushing 2,000, 2,100, that's going to get me fat. That's just my personal body and how things are right now. Probably until I get to 12% body fat. So then I would have to go even more deficit, probably beyond that. And who knows? I mean, but just based off of the DEXA scans and all that, that's kind of where I am. So now calorie, when I talk about calories, I'm just giving like a general idea, but it's more about the intuition of the food in terms of how much mass, but around that much. So there might be one day where I could feel the minimum at 900 calories, and I'm like, okay, stop there. I know that if I go more than this, I'm going to feel bloated, and that means I'm probably going a little bit too much. Or it might be the opposite. There may be some days where it's like where I'm pushing 1300, and it feels like I'm still in a deficit, and I just have to. You just eat a little bit more, but not too much. So I mean that's kind of rare, I would say. But so on average, it tends to be about 1200 calories, just as like with the same kinds of foods I'm eating to get me in a deficit, and that's based off of the DEXA scans that have caused me to go down in the weight. So because I started at like 17.4 all the way percent, I think, all the way in May, and then it went down to 16 and then 15 the months after. But then all of a sudden it climbed up back to 17. So a month after that. So it's anyway. So yeah, it just makes me think, because I'm like, every time I just spend that one little bit of energy and time on my documents to get a roommate, it just feels like I don't have that much time because I'm putting it all into this. It's like whether I'm doing it for exercise or I have to go to the store and get specific, make sure that I have to like gauge where I'm at and like, what do I need to eat here? What kind of food could I do? Could I do more protein? Could I do more fat? Do I just need to fast? It's not even. It's actually more complicated. Like you have to really think about it. You can't just randomly do it, intuitively do it, or else you're not going to cut below where I'm at. It's just the reality, and so it becomes harder and harder. So it makes me think, I don't even know if it's even worth doing anymore. But because then you have to put so much time into it, and then pretty soon you're tired and you got to go to sleep, and then like my productivity was even suffering at work. Although I will say I'm saving myself now, because I'm making sure that we're all on the same page with things, and obviously they haven't said, hey, we need to give you a performance plan or whatever, improvement plan or anything like that. So I think I'm catching myself at the right time. I mean, it's been several months, so it's like, and I'm still not there. So I think, and oh shit, is it burning? It smells like it's burning. Fuck. Sorry. I've been talking too much. It's just charred. Sorry, it's just charred. But it smelled like it was burning. I think it's just a little charred. Yeah. But anyway. Look at those muscles. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm not complaining about anything. I'm just saying that I'm just giving my thoughts on this process and whether I think it's worth it, because it seems like I'm also not really I'm being quite antisocial now too. It's interesting. Because like every time I go to the gym, I go hard. I'm just going crazy. I try to make sure that I put in the work, and there's no room for just wasting time or whatever, like maybe in the old days. And there's always like something, going on that where I try to strive for my goal, my fitness goal. And well, there's other fitness goals too, but for example, I'm trying to do like a upside down push-up, like what Keto King does. And then I'm trying to do it seems like I'm just like a teenager, like looking at all these TikTok things, but I'm also trying to do a like a push, like a pull up where you rotate and you push yourself up. They call that a muscle up. That's what it's called, muscle up. Look that up, muscle up. And I'm kind of getting there, but not really. So I mean, that's kind of a small goal, but I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I really got to think about it. I mean, if it's been like 3-4 months and I'm still not there, I'm kind of, in a way, I'm kind of back where I started. But not because, but I guess in a way I'm back where I started, but not really, because maybe my process in the beginning wasn't that great, but because what I'm discovering is that I'm able to use the ketone meter to understand where I'm at better. Like, for example, I mean, there's this idea of protein sensitivity, which I think I lacked for a while, because a year ago I was getting flabby off of eating pure protein, and I wasn't sure why. I was like, what's going on here? I thought I'm eating like protein. Isn't that the name of the game? Is just eat protein, you're good, right? You'll lose weight. But that wasn't happening with me. I was instead gaining weight. But yeah. Anyway, so I thought that was interesting, but I think that I might, well, because the thing about being social is like you know, for me, I just have to like put off the goal completely, I feel like. And so I think in about a month, if I'm not on a downward trend, see, I'm going to actually get a DEXA scan more often. So I'm going to get it every 3 weeks. I would say in about 2 months, if I'm not on a downward trend, I think I'm going to, especially if I still haven't gotten attended by then, you know, I think I'm just going to, I'm going to take a break for like 3 months. I'm just going to let myself gain 3, 4, 5% body fat, because which is where I was a year ago, because like, you know, I was probably at 20% body fat or something like that a year ago. Because I mean, the other things are important to me, and like if it just keeps suffering, it's like, this, what are you gonna do, right? And it just doesn't make any sense to have a goal of 10% body fat, because you're equally healthy if you're at 15% is good, you know. So I mean, but I can see myself getting to 13-14% within 3 months, just because like I'm getting to know how my body responds in order for me to cut further, and seeing that I failed before. So I think it's just kind of like a struggle to get there. You know, you just got to keep learning about your body more, you know, at a more deep level. But then at the same time, you're going to become more antisocial over time. So it's like, what do you want to do, right? That's because the more antisocial you get, the more it's like you might be prone to not feeling so good about things, you know. So anyways, that's all I thought I would put out there. Definitely, if there's like a time where I'm like, should I go to the gym or should I go out and talk to people? I'm just like, let's go to the gym. And that's basically what ends up happening. And then like my mind is just so focused, it doesn't really like locked in, that I don't even think about like other people anymore. I just feel so selfish. It's crazy. So anyways, wish me luck. I think my physique is looking pretty good. I don't want to take my shirt off, but so anyways, thanks for watching.